Hi, this is Dr. Murray Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to the Health and Lifestyle Experts platform and show. And we're just so happy to be here. Today, we are rejoicing and having Georgina Salgado Chavez with us today. She is an expert in health, and Angelica Chiki is joining us today as well. Am I saying that right? Okay, very good. And so what I would like to do is just let Georgina introduce herself, tell us a little bit about herself. Welcome.
My name is Georgina Zagara Chavez. It's a long name, right? That's the bad thing about me. But anyway, I'm a physician. My background is naturopathic and oriental medicine. Also, I have a background in medical hypnosis stuff as well. I've been focusing on hormonal imbalances mainly. My main thing is diabetes type 2, infertility, and PMS kind of symptoms, to regulate the PMS and all the pains and stuff like that. So I've been doing that a lot. I've been doing a lot of thyroid and stuff, but the main thing that I've been focused is diabetes type 2, infertility, and the PMS. Okay. But anyways, I've been doing this since 2006. Basically, that's what I'm doing since
Cool. That's awesome. Hey, so Georgina, tell me, why are you doing this? How did you get into doing this?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I never wanted to get into medicine because to me, I'm more like a business person. I'm more like into business. So I always thought that being in medicine is you have to be a little bit more compassion. I didn't like to touch people in the past. Seriously, I didn't like to touch. I remember that the first people I used to touch in school, I used to do it like this, like, oh, I gotta touch you. Like a wow. Like I was really disgusting to me to be touching somebody. Now afterwards, you touch everybody, then that's about it. But now the main thing is because my younger son, got an autoimmune disorder, a rare autoimmune disorder, which I don't have no answers in conventional medicine. And then I have to go to look for an answer for my son. So that's why I have so many titles and backgrounds, because I was looking something for my son. So I did help him out, because he was in chemotherapy for 8.5 years, and they were planning to keep it in chemotherapy for the rest of his life. So my fear was chemotherapy can give him a lot of side effects in the long run. And because he started this when he was a year old. My son born really healthy, but he went to the checkups, and his first year checkup, he was perfectly healthy as well. But he got his checkup and he got his vaccine. 3 days later, after the checkup, he becomes sick, really sick. So since then, I've been my mission to just find something for him. And that's where I get into so many crazy stuff like parasites, detox, because it's something to do with you, not with something to do with the patient. Now, in school, they told me something. That some patients, they're going to follow you. Since my son's is super rare, it happened 1 in 1 million.
Wow.
So because it's not going to find so many people with that disease. Okay. So what happened when I start going to practice, and when I start going to like my internship, and I start going to practice, for whatever reason, people that have like weight gain, belly fat, with diabetes type 2 and infertility, PMS things, those are the people that they will start following me. It's not something that I was looking for it, and I was not even, searching for those kind of people. They just start following me, and it seems like you get the same people over and over and over and over. So that's why I become in that good and that little niche, because that was the only thing they have, basically. I did have sometimes some cancer patients, or sometimes and diverticulitis or whatever else, but I don't really have that much experience in that kind of problems.
It's interesting because in my practice, the one thing I've always noted that, and my wife and I have talked about this a lot. If you want to learn about something, go find a mom who has a sick child, because you're going to learn a ton, because they research and they dig, and that's essentially what you just told me. It really changed. It changed your life. It changed your son's life, and now you're changing a lot of lives because of that. So it's really cool. I mean, it's really confirmation of this thing that I've witnessed in the past, and you're doing it at a super high level, which is awesome. It's really a cool thing.
When you have your kid in such a bad shape, you just don't care. You go the extra mile. I remember that I went to college with 3 kids. They have to support myself. So it was really hard but I didn't care. I just wanted to get the
Yeah.
answer for my sons because I don't want to keep him. He was
Yeah.
8.5 years, and every single week we were in the hospital. 1 year we lived literally in the hospital with him.
Wow.
So that's not something I wanted for my kid the rest of his life. So
Mhm.
that's why I was like, I have to do something, and I have to do something, and especially your kids, you go crazy with your kids, you know.
Right. Right. Oh, no kidding.
That tells us something about you, that you're very determined and you
Mhm.
really showed that love. It reminds me of these two, this couple that they were told that their child was going to die, and they went all over because their child had a disease, and it was a rare disease as well. And what happened was they did all kinds of research and they came up with a cure. So it's
Yeah.
amazing
Right.
that people with the information that we have now and the technology, and also because they were able to contact other people all around the world through the internet, they found a lot of answers. So
Well,
so you're
yeah.
a genius. You're like a scientist.
Yeah.
You figured
Well,
out.
actually, one of the things that people say, oh, you seems like you are very excited about toxicity. I'm like, not really. I mean, it kind of been boring to be excited about toxicity, right? But the thing here is with me is to me, that was, I think, that the answer for my kid's situation. And when it's something related with you, you're always going to be like, oh my God, this is the thing. I really believe that my son got like that because the vaccine has mercury, which mercury passed from mom to kids. Now I know that. I didn't know that. And I used to have amalgams. So the thing is not always something that you do. You sometimes trust doctors and they can give you something that can hurt you as well. So this is what I ended up knowing about, and actually, another thing that I've been battling, and Dr. Smith, I've been battling with asthma and
Oh, yeah.
asthma symptoms and my son's autoimmune disorder, they have something to do with mercury as well. And the mercury, I
Mhm.
didn't put it in my mouth. It was a doctor who put it in my mouth. A doctor that has a license, a doctor that has all the regulations, everything is in place. So, and also I didn't even understand a lot of stuff. For instance, mercury. One of the things that I always used to say, "Hey, how are you?" And I used to shake hands. People were like, "Oh my God, you have really cold hands." And I used to sleep with socks. I mean, I don't know, that's the sexy day. I sleep with double socks. It's like I get really, really bad with my socks because I get really cold. My son is the same thing. He has the same problem before. And now, little by little, I've been detoxifying little by little because if you do it like that, your body reacts really bad in my case. But, I'm noticing my hands change the temperature already.
Right.
My
Right.
feet change the temperature. Before, I couldn't even be walking on the floor. I have a wooden floor, so it's not cold. It's room temperature. I couldn't do that. Now I walk on the floor sometimes, and I feel like, oh, wow, I can do this. Yeah, but it is very interesting what happened with you and how deep you can go into things, because something
Right.
happened.
Right.
Mhm.
So how have you done this? I mean, how have you? So you did a lot of research, but how did you actually go through this process, or what process did you use? How did you finally come around fixing this?
First of all, I went to school to understand a little bit more the body, how it functions.
Mhm.
And they teach you that in school. That's
Right.
the thing very well. But whatever answers they were giving me, it was not the answer that I was looking because it was like, oh, that's a rare disease. It's nothing in there. I mean, actually, even doctors, if you say, oh, my son has histiocytosis, you used to look at like, can you please spell it to me because they didn't even heard of it. So, it's something that is like was in books, it doesn't exist, that disease.
Mhm.
But doctors rarely they know about it.
Mhm.
So what I did is I wanted to understand the body to help him out. And then after I started putting things together based on the symptoms, based on me. For instance, a few years ago, I removed my amalgams. I didn't know that they were that bad. So I removed everything. Actually, like I said, in detoxifying myself because I think that that's what I need. And I think there's something that I'm leaching little by little out of my body. That's one thing that I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing with my son. And when my son was little, I used to do everything. I used to do acupuncture, everything to find the, like I need to find the answer because I don't want you to die. So I did acupuncture, I did homeopathic medicine. But one thing that works the best, it was a detoxification. That's when I nailed it. Detoxification.
Oh, okay.
That's when it was like I nailed it right there
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
and then I went to the doctor, the oncologist, and I said, one thing, remove the chemotherapy. He was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, just do it, and we try it for a month. The month I come back, if we see that my son is getting the symptoms back, we go back to it. But it's not. So from that point, just until today, my son is not being in chemotherapy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's detox.
Yeah, that's incredible. That it is, yeah, absolutely, yeah, amazing. I mean, just it's something that when you have, so there's a lot of Chiqui, you had mentioned about it, that we can go on the internet and we can find all these things, we can research all these things, right? And I think that's really awesome. We have Dr. Google that can tell us so many things, right? The problem we have is that we can have all this, that you can say information is power. However, used information properly is really where the power is. And so how does that come about? Some people like you you understood that as the deeper you got into things, the more you understood that you had to get a very directed education to figure this out. And which is awesome. You were able to do that. That's incredible. Your son needed that. But the problem is that you're a rare bird. Most people can't do that because of their situation. Most people won't do that because they don't understand they need to do that. Okay. And or for a lot of different, they don't have, the constraints of money, the constraints of time, the constraints of ability. There's all of those things, which is why having an expert like you around that can really take them and laser beam this solution after working with you and really doing this with them, okay, is really incredible. I mean, it's a great gift to have you and to have you around to do this with them. It's incredible. A question I would ask is, you have you have a process that you go. How are you different from everybody? Why you?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't look things from symptoms. I really see things from the root of the cause. The root of the cause, if you find the root of the cause, and this is the case with my son. Like I say, I find out that he got intoxication with mercury because of me having the amalgams, me being not kid with vaccines. Him, when he got the vaccine, it was just a little drop that spilled the water in the cup. You know what I mean? It was not the only thing that happened. He already was having problems with mercury in the past. Now, I don't know if you guys know about this research, because a lot of people say, oh, but it was very young guy and stuff, my son. But it's an article from EWG.org. I don't know if you ever heard of it. They call it From the Womb to the Tomb. They check in the umbilical cords of babies, and they seeing how much toxicity they got. And it's not just my son, it's a lot of other kids that they have in the problems. They say that the average kid has 200 chemicals in there, and 180 of those chemicals, they have cancerous chemicals in there. You know what I mean? It's cancer toxins already. So it is, I mean, my son is not that unique because when I was in Children's Memorial Hospital, it was only babies. A lot of brand new babies, like just coming out of the womb with cancer already. It's very, very sad what you see in there. I mean, it's one of the worst places that you can go is to children's hospitals with cancer patients. I was there with them 8.5 years. And believe it or not, it's not way that after like a year or 2 years or 1 month or whatever, you can get used to it. You never get used to the kind of pain that's in that place.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Yeah. I mean, that in and of itself is motivation. Just that single thing. So that is incredible. So if somebody were to want to find you or to work with you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, you can look for me in my platforms and my social media platforms, but also I have a Peak Performance Care, my website.com. But I mean, you can find me for Georgina Salgado Chavez on Facebook, Georgina Salgado Chavez on YouTube, Georgina Salgado Chavez on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, everywhere that you take, they look for me as Georgina Salgado Chavez. And I think I'm very easy to find because people even call me my number. My number is even public. So I got people calling me from random places and my phone number too, and my private phone number, which is not private because everybody has it. You will find it really easy. Mhm.
That's great.
Yep. Any other
Great.
questions?
Kiki, you got anything?
I think you've asked them all, Doctor.
All right, very good. Well, you ladies, it has been so good to have you. Georgina, thank you so much for telling us about yourself, telling us about what you do, really bringing the energy and enthusiasm and passion to our little forum here, and we're just so grateful for it. And Chiki, we are so grateful to have you here as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, we'll see you next time. Okay.